I guess the title of your book says it all, 50 years.
From Trudeau to Trudeau, 50 years. It's interesting that
yes, it is.
I started out when Pierre Trudeau was becoming Prime Minister, and now I hear his son. So, yeah, it's quite significant, I think.
How, in heaven's name, do you choose which of your babies is going into the book?
Well, at the beginning, it's easy, I've got to tell you, because most cartoons are maybe a minor chuckle on a given day, and you forget about them eventually. It's not. But if you're fortunate enough to draw the occasional cartoon that people remember, then you're in a key position. So it was a question, really, in putting this book together, of going through approximately 13,000 cartoons I've drawn. Immediately got rid of 7,000 or 8,000 of them for one reason or another. But then it began to sort of boil down, became more and more difficult to eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually for the book, I came up with 350 approximate cartoons that I feel, if somebody wanted to know anything about me in the future, that these are the ones that I would want to be remembered for.
What criteria do you use to assess what's going in there beyond your gut?
It's pretty much my gut. Mm. But also, no, I think also, given the wonderfulness of working from my perch in Montreal, where so much has happened in 50 years. Think about it. Referendums, threat of separation, Olympics, some joyful events, the best jazz festival in the world, all of these things that I've had a chance to cartoon on. So I wanted to make sure that all of those were represented. Never mind international material and Canadian material, but I wanted to make sure that those were all represented in one way or another.
When you hear about cartoonists being attacked, threatened, protests rising up against them, and even worse, of course, I'm thinking of Charlie Hebdo.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to something like that?
Well, it proves how effective cartoons are, really. And I mean, the thing is that is a class of cultures. What we consider to be quite funny and allowable here is not allowed in other societies. Mm-hmm. And so they get righteously indignant about that. I can understand that to a certain extent, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I do. But I think the bottom line is to understand, you know, people have died because of these cartoons, because they've been misinterpreted, this, that, and the other. It just proves it's a very, very effective communication tool.
I'm wondering how much love plays a part in what you do.
Quite a bit. I don't really hate anybody I draw. You might think so sometimes if I'm really, but I don't hate them. I'm rather fond of most of them. I am, in a way, because I understand that they're human beings like you and I. Mm-hmm. They'll make mistakes. It's inevitable. They don't want to appear to be making mistakes, but they will. So there's kind of a humanness about that, and I try to get that into my cartoons. These politicians who pretend to be such experts are sort of befuddled or, you know, out of... Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, we just edge over here a bit. Yeah. There's one thing I've always wondered, and it's the little dots.
Yeah.
That you put in.
It's dandruff.
That's what...
You know, we all have dandruff. We all have dead skin, particularly in our scalp. We all have it.
Yeah.
No matter how you try to, and it's falling off quietly. So that is the great humanizing factor, getting you to that point that I point out that everybody, the mightiest people, the Queen of England, we all have dandruff. So that's why I'll put dots in, to humanize it.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to add?
It's always fun to do ideacity. It's my 13th time. I think mm-hmm. that's a record.
Sure.
And I think Moses likes to close the show with a big laugh. So I will try and do it again this year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Okay.